Have you ever experienced déjà vu and thought, wait, I've been here before, right? It's a sensation so strange and eerie, it leaves you questioning your reality. But what's actually going on inside your brain when this happens? Why do we feel like we're reliving a moment when it's clearly happening for the first time? Hello, friends, and welcome to Brainwaves. Today, we're diving into the science behind déjà vu. What's going on up there in your brain when this phenomenon strikes? Section 1. What is déjà vu? Let's start with the basics. What exactly is déjà vu? The term déjà vu, which means already seen in French, refers to the feeling that you've lived through a particular moment before. But it's not like a memory where you can recall details. Instead, it's more of a sensation, an eerie feeling that washes over you unexpectedly. Most people experience déjà vu at least once in their lives, but for some, it's a more frequent occurrence. Section 2. Common misconceptions about déjà vu. Now, if you've had déjà vu, you might have heard some pretty wild theories about it. Maybe that it's a sign of a past life or even a glitch in the Matrix. It's the ultimate brain teaser. But here's the thing. There's no solid evidence to back up these ideas. Sorry, Matrix fans. Déjà vu is mysterious, sure. But scientists have been digging into this for years. And they're getting closer to cracking the code on what's really happening. Spoiler alert. It's all about your brain trying to play catch-up with your reality. So, what's actually going on in your brain when you experience déjà vu? Section 3. The science behind déjà vu. The brain's role. So, what's actually going on in your brain when you experience déjà vu? To understand this, we need to talk about how your brain processes memories. One leading theory is that déjà vu happens when there's a kind of glitch in your brain's memory systems, particularly in areas like the hippocampus, which is responsible for forming and storing memories. Research suggests that déjà vu might occur when your brain is processing a current situation and accidentally flags it as a memory, even though it's not. This creates the strange feeling that you've been through the moment before, when in reality, your brain is just making a mistake. It's like your brain's memory system hit the repeat button by accident. Section 4. Neurological theories. How memory processing plays a role. One of the key theories scientists are exploring is the idea of a memory mismatch. This happens when your brain's memory retrieval system gets a bit mixed up and recognizes a new experience as familiar, even though you've never actually lived through it before. Think of it as a false positive in your memory system. Cognitive conflict model. This theory proposes that déjà vu occurs when the brain's decision-making areas, like the frontal lobe, detect a conflict between actual memory and perception, leading to a corrective signal that manifests as déjà vu. Research published in recent years suggests that déjà vu might be caused by a conflict between brain regions, especially in the frontal lobe and temporal lobe. These areas are responsible for decision-making and memory processing, respectively. If your brain's frontal region tries to correct an inaccurate memory, it might trigger that déjà vu sensation. In other words, your brain is trying to help, but it gets a little confused in the process. Section 5. The role of the hippocampus and amygdala. The hippocampus, as we mentioned earlier, is crucial for forming and retrieving memories. But what happens when the hippocampus doesn't work perfectly? Studies suggest that people who experience more frequent déjà vu episodes may have differences in the gray matter volume of their hippocampus. This could mean that the brain is misfiring in its attempt to recall memories, which leads to that familiar feeling. And let's not forget the amygdala, the part of your brain that deals with emotions. When déjà vu happens, it might trigger an emotional reaction because your brain thinks you're reliving something, whether it's real or not. This is why déjà vu often feels so intense. Almost like you're on the edge of discovering something important, even though nothing significant is really happening. Section 6. Déjà vu and neurological conditions. Now, for most people, déjà vu is harmless, a weird little brain quirk. But in some cases, it can be linked to neurological conditions, particularly temporal lobe epilepsy. People with this type of epilepsy often report having frequent déjà vu episodes right before a seizure. Scientists believe that in these cases, déjà vu is triggered by unusual electrical activity in the brain's temporal lobes. This gives researchers valuable clues about the brain's role in déjà vu. It suggests that déjà vu could be related to abnormal activity in the temporal lobe, even for people without epilepsy. And that leads us to some interesting insights into how the brain processes reality versus memory. Section 7. Recent research and findings. Okay, now let's talk about some of the latest findings that give us a clearer picture of déjà vu. Recent research has highlighted the possible involvement of the neurotransmitter dopamine. Dopamine plays a big role in mood and cognition. And studies have shown that increased dopamine levels may be linked to the occurrence of déjà vu. This could explain why déjà vu sometimes feels so, well, good. Even though it's a strange experience, it often comes with a kind of excitement or satisfaction. Dopamine is the same chemical your brain releases when you feel pleasure, so it makes sense that déjà vu might tap into that same reward system. Section 8. Why understanding déjà vu matters. So why does any of this matter? Why should we care about understanding déjà vu? Well, by studying phenomena like déjà vu, we get valuable insights into how memory works, how the brain processes reality, and even how certain neurological disorders affect perception. It also helps us realize how delicate and intricate our brains are, capable of complex processes, but also prone to small glitches that remind us just how mysterious the mind can be. Section 9. Recap and key takeaways. All right, let's recap what we've learned today. Déjà vu is a common experience where we feel like we've lived through a moment before, even though it's new. This feeling is likely caused by a memory mismatch or a glitch in the brain's memory systems, particularly involving the hippocampus and temporal lobe. The frontal lobe also plays a role, as it tries to correct the brain's perception of the situation. Research into dopamine and neurological conditions, like temporal lobe epilepsy, gives us more clues about why déjà vu happens. Understanding déjà vu helps us better grasp how memory and perception work, and how the brain sometimes plays tricks on us. Déjà vu is one of those strange, magical experiences that makes you question reality for a moment. But as we've seen, there's some fascinating science behind it. Have you ever had a déjà vu experience that left you scratching your head? Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear about it. And if you're curious about other weird things the brain does, check out our next video on how your brain forms memories. It might just blow your mind. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you in the next one.